Terminator. It's out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity, remorse, or fear. And it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead.
The Terminator. James Cameron's 1994 breakthrough film mixes time travel, killer machines, and a fight for survival. So what worked for me in this film were the visual effects. GFX was limited to electric bolts, the Terminator when he was coming through time, but it was mostly practical effects and they looked great. It had a cool storyline, machines versus humans with a nightmare future and nuclear war. The soundtrack was awesome. At a time when most movies were using orchestra scores, they had a completely synth soundtrack. All music was done on a synthesizer and it sounded awesome. Finally, the RoboVision. That was cool. I timed it, and for the whole film, you see RoboVision for 40.46 seconds. That's 0.6% of the movie's runtime.
That is too low. I want to see more of what's going on in the Terminator's head. It's too low.
Yeah, I would have liked to have been up in the 5% range.
All right, so what worked for me? I'm actually going to piggyback on the practical effects. I really liked the drone flying in the sky and the futuristic, apocalyptic scenes, and I really liked the rolling robot. I actually thought they did really good with that, especially considering the time that the movie came out. The music score it really does a great job at making an eerie and unsettling theme whenever the Terminator's around the hunter killer, as you can see in my background here. And actually, this screenshot of the hunter killer when it goes into the Resistance, the last humans hideout, and starts mowing them down. That scene right there, that visual right there is so strong, so powerful that I had to just make it my background for this review. It sticks with you. It's only on screen for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So they did a really good job when they used practical effects and when they showed off the Terminator. And we'll get back to that. The trio of main characters, absolutely incredible. Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, and the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course. They did a fantastic job and made it believable, even though it is the 80s. It's kind of corny at some points, but I'm not going to go to the what not worked yet. And then the car chase scenes. I loved the car chase scenes. And I love the motorcycle chase scene, and then the big rig that explodes at the end. It was really awesome. That's what worked for me.
Yeah, so the standout moments for me, as you mentioned, there were a lot of chase scenes, and I loved them. They were all great. The one that really stood out was the big rig chase at the end with the tanker. That was the best chase in that movie by far, and it was exciting and tense. The scene at the Tech Noir nightclub when he shoots the place up was awesome. You see Reese finally come out from creeping and hiding around and take some shots at the Terminator. And then the end fight in the factory was a huge standout moment. It was tense. The synth soundtrack was in the background the whole time. It was awesome. When the cyborg stood up without skin was sick.
Absolutely. My standout moments actually is very similar. I thought my favorite moment is probably the police station scene where he goes in and he's like, "I'll be back," and then he came back with a car and broke right in, and then he starts going against the cops. And I was actually sad to see the lead detective guy who actually was starting to pay attention a little bit. He's like, something's off here. And it was sad to see him go down with the rest of them, but that scene was awesome. And then, seeing the Terminator without the human flesh on anymore, just the robot with the red eyes. Oh, it's menacing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Those were my standout moments.
I didn't have a lot that didn't work in this movie, but the stop motion was probably the worst part, even though it was well done. And I know a lot of movies were using this at this time instead of GFX, but they used the stop motion as well as an actual puppet, and I feel like they could have used the fake robot in place of the stop motion scenes for the backhand smack.
Backhand smack was so bad.
It's hard to say that was what didn't work, because the stop motion was good. They didn't do a bad job with it, but he's walking with a fake robot and it's real, it's there, and then they cut to that and it broke a little bit of the immersion, but it was still overall pretty good.
All right, let me break into what didn't work for me. I've got a little more on this list than I thought I was going to. So at the beginning of the movie, when Reese is running from the cops, I actually wrote down on my notes here, is Terminator a comedy? And the reason I wrote this down is because the music when he is running from the cops, although the music score is amazing in the rest of the film, the music score when he's running from the cops reminded me of playing like a video game, like a very happy-go-lucky video game, or it just didn't fit. And it was funny because the rest of the film, the music was great. But that particular scene, the music really threw me off. I was like, wait, really? This is what they chose for this? So a funny moment before I go into the last what didn't work for me. One funny moment that I loved was when the Terminator's in the gun shop and he's asking for all the different rifles. And then he's like, how about a plasma rifle? And the guy's like, dude, just what's here on the rack. Like, he's asked for a plasma rifle. Clearly, there's no plasma rifles. No, they're not here yet. They don't exist yet. And then he's like, all right, I'll take the Uzi. And then the last what didn't work for me, it's minimal, but the last didn't work for me was some of the background actors were really bad, which not gonna kill the film, of course, but some of the background actors, one I wrote down was like the cop that is reporting the car running away from hitting the Terminator, because the cop doesn't know it's the Terminator. But like his voice lines are like, all right, I just saw a hit and run, and it looks like it's a hit and run felony. It was actually like they recorded voiceovers of it afterwards and then put them to the scene. It was really odd. The one that made me laugh the most was the guy gets thrown from the payphone at like full strength by the Terminator. And then in the background off screen, he says like really lightly and politely, you have a serious attitude problem.
It's like when you bump into somebody in GTA and they say something as you're walking away.
Yeah.
You have a serious attitude problem.
Other than that, that's like the worst of the movie for me, which is minimal, which is good.
Yeah. So overall, I rate this movie a 3 out of 5. It is good.
Same here. My final score is going to be 3 out of 5. It's a classic movie that everyone knows. It's Arnold's big movie that got him on the map, and it's worth seeing. Thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the review. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of the movie? Drop your score on our 1 to 5 scale and tell us if you agree or disagree with our take. Also, if you have a movie suggestion for our next review, throw it down below. We actually read every comment. We love getting your ideas. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on the notifications, hit the bell so you don't miss our next No BS short review. Thanks again for hanging out with the S2S Film Bros. We'll see you in the next one.